shit, yeah, they bread stank. Walk up in the club, dripping like I'm fresh paint. I can see through the facade like an...
What's going on, fight fans? It's another great day when you love MMA. Welcome back to Mad Matty Fight Talk. So we had another great weekend of combat sports going down. We had the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, BKFC, just have one of their biggest, best fight cards that we have ever seen them have. Just went down, just wrapped up. We also had UFC Fight Night go down with another really good fight, stacked fight card. But the main event was one very, very good fight between Ricky Simon taking on Song Yadong. Battle of two top 10 contenders in the bantamweight division. That also just wrapped up. We'll jump into the BKFC first because that just ended and I'm still really hype off of all the fights that happened. We'll just talk about the main event real quick. Let's jump into Luke Rockhold taking on Platinum Mike Perry. Now, this was Luke Rockhold's first time entering BKFC, his first fight, his debut fight with the promotion, taking on Platinum Mike Perry, who's 2-0 in BKFC. The guy showed that he really can handle some high-level competition. Mike Perry was coming off of a really big, I think, split decision victory, or they went to final death or whatever it's called, where they had an extra round because it was a draw. And Mike Platinum Perry ended up winning that fight against MVP Michael Venom Page. And before that, he beat Julian Lane. Now, Luke Rockhold, a really big two-time world champion in MMA, has really good grappling skills. Really haven't seen if he's really got the skill standing up with just the hands. If he's only doing one focused style of fighting, we don't know if he's deadly with the hands like that. We know he's a really good striker, but can he hang in there just boxing? I was very interested to see how this fight would go down. If you guys checked out my videos before, I had Platinum Mike Perry winning this fight. I thought he was going to knock out Luke Rockhold because he knows how to get inside on these bigger guys. He takes advantage. He works off his jab, and when he's in the clinch is when he really goes to work. Luke Rockhold did a good job. He came out, landed some really heavy shots. It looked like he rocked Platinum Perry a few times. But Perry stayed in there and does what he does best. He stays in the pocket, made it a really tight fight, and ended up getting, I believe, what was considered a doctor stoppage or TKO. TKO ref stopped it, whatever. Luke Rockhold basically took his mouthpiece out and was complaining about his teeth. So I'm assuming that Mike Perry broke out a couple of this guy's teeth, and he definitely didn't want to continue after that. Now, look, Rockhold's a pretty boy, man. That's the problem with being a very handsome motherfucker and doing fighting for a living. You know, I think if Mike Perry broke some teeth, he would continue to fight. So, I don't know, man. I thought that was a bitch move of Luke Rockhold. You guys can hit me in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought about the stoppage. Now, granted, I haven't had multiple teeth knocked out at once, but I have had one tooth knocked out in an amateur MMA fight. And, you know, I fought till I got finished. So, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I don't know what that's like. So, I do know what it's like. I just don't know if he wanted to keep going, how excruciating the pain was. Everybody's teeth are different. The nerves are different. You know, if it's chipped, that's one thing. If he completely breaks it out and the nerves are damaged, you're probably not going to want to continue fighting. But I still think that Luke Rockhold's a pussy for pulling out and not continuing. He should have, you know, tried to finish the round, go for a Hail Mary and go out on a shield. But I don't know, man. I can't sit there and judge the guy because I'm not in the ring. What I thought was very interesting is Conor McGregor was live at the event, and Mike Perry said during his post-fight interview, "Let me and Conor McGregor get a face-off." And they bring McGregor in, and McGregor was hype, man. He loves the BKFC. He was talking really good about the promotion, holding a BKFC belt, got right up with Mike Perry. You know, they showed respect and love. But I think that would be fun, man. I think if they pulled Conor McGregor in for a one-fight deal or did something where they could work it out with the UFC, BKFC fighters versus UFC fighters, whatever, that would be insane. The pay-per-views would be insane. That sport would blow right the fuck up. And rightfully so, dude. That's a very dangerous sport to be competing in, especially as a combat specialist. That's like, you know, you're not wearing gloves. Your hands are susceptible to injuries. Your face is going to get gashed up. But I give it credit, man. They got Conor McGregor there. They got the crowd hype. Now, in the co-main event for BKFC, they had Eddie Alvarez taking on Chad Mendes. Another really, really good fight. You had the former champion versus a former contender of the UFC taking each other on in a bare-knuckle boxing match, and both these guys have pretty good hands. I personally thought that Chad Mendes was going to put a beating on Alvarez. Not because I underestimate Alvarez. It's just they had a common opponent in Conor McGregor, and we saw how they both did. Eddie got pieced up against a guy with really high-level boxing, and Mendes did a little bit better. He ended up getting TKO'd himself, but he did a little bit better, landed a bit more damage on Conor. So that's kind of how I gauge it, and I know no one fight is the same and all that nonsense, but that's how I gauge this fight. Eddie ended up proving me wrong. He dropped Mendes. Mendes dropped Eddie. It was a great fight, a classic fight. Eddie ended up winning a split decision in his BKFC debut. I mean, the guy's a warrior, man. He's been fighting for a long, long time. He deserves the credit, the flowers, everything you want to give this guy. But yeah, that was a great fight. Chad Mendes, you know, he's one of my favorite fighters. A little ball of fury, but he just couldn't get the job done. Really close, really good, and those guys were swinging for the fences. So I love watching explosive fights like that. So shout out to those guys. Ben Rothwell also won, and I believe Christine Ferreira TKO'd Beck Rawlings to retain her championship as well. You guys need to go check it out. Find the videos on YouTube. Try to find some links to show highlights. I know on Twitter they're blowing up. If you type in BKFC, you'll probably be able to find stuff. And real quick before we continue, if you guys haven't yet, subscribe to my channel. Hit me with a like on this video. It really helps me out. I really appreciate all the guys who watch this, females, older people, whatever. I appreciate my audience. Please hit me with a like. Please hit me with a subscribe. And always comment, man. I love to argue with you guys. Now, moving over to the UFC, we had Ricky Simón taking on Song Yadong. This was the co-main event from the fights that happened last week. Moves over 1 week to become the main event, and rightfully so. These are two high-level top 10 bantamweights in a very, 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 very stacked division. You got Ricky Simón, a heavy-handed wrestler, taking on Song Yadong, very diverse striker that trains out of Alpha Male, so you know he has the grappling skills to do it. Now, Yadong is coming off of a loss to Corey Sandhagen where he got some serious damage done to his eyebrow, but also got out-grappled a little bit. Now, Ricky, you know, he last fought, I believe, last year in like July or something, so he's been on like kind of a layoff. And then to have your fight moved 1 week out and add 2 more rounds onto it, I don't know if he was prepared properly for that. And it showed in this fight. It looked like he was conserving a lot of energy. But also, you know, I've been watching a lot of interviews lately where fighters are saying, you know, I hate when or Max Holloway said this actually. I hate when people say that you didn't look like yourself. You didn't look like yourself. Because I do say that a lot. But he said, you know, maybe the guy just was better than him. And Song Yadong was just better tonight than Ricky Simón was. He had a great game plan. Simón was landing a nice jab, but Yadong, once he found the range, man, he was landing nice combinations, solid leg kicks. It looked like he was battering up that left leg of Ricky Simón. Simón just couldn't find his rhythm, man, and he got some nice takedowns, but Yadong was just so hard to keep down. He couldn't keep this guy on the ground, and I think that kind of, you know, that plays into your head. You start giving up on your game plan a little bit. We saw that in rounds 1, through like 3. He got a takedown, Yadong gets back up. He got a takedown, and in the next round, Yadong gets right back up. He kind of bailed on it and started getting into a striking battle, which was pretty high level, very technical. I mean, both guys were landing nice shots, but Yadong was landing the bigger shots. He was definitely making his punches count, and we saw that pay off heavily at the end of round 4. If you guys missed it, Yadong dropped Ricky really, really hard in like the last like 8 seconds, and if that had any more time left on it, I think he could have put that fight away right there. He started getting into maybe mount. He got into some ground position and started landing some bombs. Luckily, the round ended. Now, I don't know if Simón had the time to recover properly, because when round 5, when these guys started trading and things started heating up again, Yadong was a showstopper. He put the show to the end, putting the stamp on a victory, ended up getting a TKO finish over a very tough Ricky Simón. I mean, that guy is definitely going to learn from this. He's going to come back. But Song Yadong looked great tonight. His takedown defense was on point. His leg kicks were sharp. His combinations and his boxing was nasty. I mean, he was literally letting it fly, man. Ricky did a good job, but, you know, hats off to Yadong. He fought really smart, fought really hard, and he's definitely going to be climbing up the rankings. I believe he's number 8 right now, just defeated number 10, so he's definitely going to be moving up at some point. Anyway, guys, like always, thanks for checking me out. I hope you guys enjoyed this weekend like I did. BKFC 41, look up the highlights on Twitter. That's where it's at. Twitter always got the good stuff. UFC Fight Night, if you have ESPN Plus and you missed it, go back and check it out. Really good fight card as well. I'll see you guys on the next video, man. Thanks for all the support.
Haters talking shit, yeah, they breath stank. Walk up in the club, dripping like I'm fresh paint. I can see through the facade like an